Welcome to Delta Green, God's Teeth, brought to you by Black Project Gaming. Get read in at blackprojectgaming.com. I'm Vince, your host and handler for this campaign. Joining me are Cami as FBI Special Agent Sarah Hart, Doug as Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent Gerrald Swenson, Jack as Special Agent Adrian Selivanov with the FBI's Computer Analysis Response Team, and Sonia as Dr. Leah Caron with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. God's Teeth is a campaign of unthinkable horrors, written by Caleb Stokes for Delta Green, the role-playing game. For more information on Delta Green, please visit delta-green.com. Music in these episodes is brought to you by Cryo Chamber and Epidemic Sound. This podcast contains depictions of and allusions to violence against both children and animals, as well as unnatural horror, graphic violence, and adult language. As a result, it is intended solely for mature audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. All right, so in our last session, we picked up immediately in the aftermath of the confrontation with El Gable at the Charlotte's Rest Veterans Home in Charlottes Hall, Maryland. Dr. Caron, you successfully persuaded Dr. Caulfield that this entire episode was a result of El Gable and the therapy dogs attacking you, and El was intent on killing Franklin Price. You successfully convinced him of this and told him that the dogs essentially turned on El and ripped her throat out. Once Dr. Caulfield is sufficiently persuaded, convinced, you all started looking around, and Bear, you found a crumpled up flyer for St. Laurence Church clutched in Franklin Price's hand, adorned with all manner of symbols and imagery, notably with the words shelter and safety crossed out. Sarah, you checked on Adrian, informed him of the cover story that you all were going to go with, specifically that one of the dogs turned on Elle and ripped her throat out. Adrian was dead set on Bear not coming with them, but Sarah insisted that there was currently no other option. Adrian, of course, was convinced that Bear was a liability due to what happened in that room, and Sarah gave him permission to report the incident directly to Pizzarelli. The team ensured everyone's cover stories matched, and you gave the scene one last look over to ensure that the forensic evidence would support the narrative. Specifically, Sarah and Leah, you took the extra step of smearing some of Elle's blood around the poodle's mouth. Sarah talked to the local sheriff's office outside the veterans home, while Adrian, you pulled the security footage for the wing, and you also found a file on Franklin Price and his treatment to date. After Sarah talked to the sheriff's deputies, the entire group was interviewed by them, and you all stuck to your stories. Sarah, you successfully persuaded them and convinced them of your narrative, that Elle was indeed killed by one of these therapy dogs gone mad. At that point, you all began making your way towards the King-Torino Children's Refuge in Charlotte, North Carolina. Along the way, Adrian, you pulled off to call Pizzarelli and told him everything that had happened at Charlotte's Rest. As disturbing as your recounting of the events was to him, he made it clear that you were to continue working with the others until the threat presented by Elle and her accomplices is neutralized. Sarah, Pizzarelli called you twice on your burner and then once on your personal phone before you picked up. He made it clear he wanted the rest of the team's version of events, and you all essentially related to him what you believed and what you saw happened. Once he had your version of the events, he made it clear that you were to kill Elle's co-conspirators as cleanly as possible, i.e. no more throat ripping, and provide him with daily updates. In the wake of the phone call with Pizzarelli, Bear, you experienced what initially appeared to be a panic attack, and Dr. Caron did some immediate on-site triage of your symptoms. While in the rest stop parking lot after calling Pizzarelli, Adrian, you had another encounter with a convulsing bat, but you avoided being bitten a second time, thankfully. You all continued driving and stopped for the night in Greensboro, North Carolina, about an hour and a half from Charlotte. Adrian, you copied the surveillance footage from Charlotte's Rest on your laptop and conducted an initial review, and you watched as Elle and the dogs made their way to Franklin Price's room with this unnaturally perfect timing, just as you all arrived. Bear, you called your unfortunate soon-to-be ex-spouse, Gerrald, and berated her a bit, which was overheard by both Leah and Sarah, prompting Leah to go check on you. Shortly thereafter, the group reconvened in Sarah's room to debrief. Bear, you kind of go through what you experienced, what happened from your point of view, experiencing that rage, that hunger, being overcome by that smell emanating off of Elle. Leah, you successfully made a psychotherapy roll and diagnosed Bear with intermittent explosive disorder. Adrian, you showed the team the footage you recovered from Charlotte's arrest. And at that point, the rest of the team tried to explain to you this scent that overpowered Bear. And you all kind of discussed the nature of it, speculated on what the source might be. And then you discussed next steps, specifically the visit King-Torino, followed by the church from the flyer and Crystal Killian's home in Hendry County, Florida. Bear and Leah and Sarah, you go to dinner, and Bear got himself a nice, bloody, rare steak, which was quite apropos given what just happened. Adrian, however, remained in his room and reviewed Price's file, the one he swiped from the nurse's station back at Charlotte's arrest. You learned that Franklin Price had an alleged adopted daughter by the name of Nika Chilikov, who was one of the Cornucopia House survivors who was sent to King-Torino. However, King-Torino staff refuted the claim that Price had any relation, adopted or otherwise, to her, and you did some open source research online and learned that Nika is listed as a caretaker at King-Torino and is pursuing a master's degree in child psychology. After dinner, Sarah and Leah, you talked, and Leah shared her diagnosis of Bear's intermittent explosive disorder. You discussed the toll that these operations are having on you all mentally. And Sarah, for the first time, you revealed that Clove directed you to kill the kids after the raid on Cornucopia House, but you intentionally chose not to comply. You speculate out loud, probably for the first time, that the operation was completely off the books, but you still are not sure who Clove actually was or why she sent you all to Cornucopia House on an unsanctioned operation. You discuss the force that you speculate is behind everything, and whether you all are choosing to do what you do, or whether you are merely doing what is required of you. You also discuss how much you should tell Adrian about your original involvement at Cornucopia House. Sarah, you decided to be truthful if asked, and volunteer information freely if you determine it's pertinent to the current situation or circumstances. And finally, you updated Pizzarelli for the evening. When we closed out, Adrian, you decided to do some light research on your fellow teammates. You learned that Bear started his career as a security guard in Washington, D.C., became a Virginia State Trooper, and after 2002 was brought into Homeland Security investigations and became a firearms instructor at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia. Dr. Caron started off in the Army as an officer in the Medical Corps, spent most of her time at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C., and joined the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as a biologist after 2002. You learned Sarah was recruited into the FBI out of college in 1996. She is currently assigned to the Anchorage field office, but she was assigned to Baltimore in 2001. She left the Bureau in mid to late 2001, but returned in 2002, and occasionally consults on missing and endangered children cases for a nonprofit called the Center for the Missing Child. Perhaps most interestingly, you found out that when she was a college student, she worked on a missing persons case in Anchorage as a budding web or internet sleuth. And of course, you did notice that everyone moved on to the next stages of their career at roughly the same time in 2002. The group retired for the evening, and we will pick up on the next day, which is Friday, September 2nd, 2016.
Before the day starts, I think that, if it's okay, that Sarah would get a text from Adrian. And the gist of it would be, meet for coffee? ?
Yeah, she'll respond with a thumbs up.
And I'd say this is pretty early in the morning too, maybe like 5 or 6. And it's not long after that you get a knock on your door.
Yeah, she'll come over in a couple minutes and open it up. You're up earlier than I expected.
Coffee place was in the hotel was And by coffee place, I mean the machine was on and I couldn't sleep well, so I figured why not. And he'll present you just with like a cup of warm black coffee.
Yeah, thanks. Come on in.
Thank you for seeing me this early. I just wanted to touch base with you before the others. I found something back at Charlotte's Rest, and I took it before we left, and he'll sort of present the folder and put it on a table. I'll slip it towards her. It is everything they had on Price. You can look over it, but the big thing there is Price claimed to have a daughter that he adopted from Cornucopia House. Her name is Nika Chilikov. She was apparently a ward of Cornucopia House, and he claims to have adopted her. I did some cursory research, and nothing came up. There is no official record of that happening. She is also at our next stop. Well, could be.
Okay. Do we think that he's mistaken, or do we think that at some point he had adopted her but forgot after that? I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know why he would make that claim if he didn't do that.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what took place at Cornucopia House. But you do.
I don't know what happened to the kids after. That wasn't part of our job.
But it seemed to me, just from a glance and from everything that you all told me, that there was incredible amounts of neglect and abuse.
Yeah, no, it was horrific. There was.
So perhaps he did it out of pity, or I don't know. I suppose if she is at our next stop, then it's something that we can ask her. I did actually have another question for you, though.
All right, shoot.
What happened in Anchorage?
A lot of things happen in Anchorage. There a specific question in there?
Well, you were looking for someone.
Yeah, a lot of people go missing in Alaska.
But you were pretty hard up on a particular case. I'm just curious as to whether or not it has something to do with some involvement with Cornucopia House, or if it was just personal motivation.
No, that was a few years before Cornucopia House. If I'm assuming that you found... Oh, I can't believe it's still up. That old weblog I used to run. Yeah, no, there was a college girl that went missing. Something didn't seem right about it. I looked into it. And in the early days of the internet, looking into it was kind of a wild thing to do at the time. But
yeah, I guess I was just too young.
Probably. She died. She wasn't found alive. You're asking about the resolution.
I was just curious. But thank you for the transparency. I am going to be transparent with you now. I did background checks on all of you. And it makes sense, the timelines, the pauses, the blips in your careers, the shared moments of absence and then progression.
Was there something else you were expecting to find?
No. But I think it just reconfirmed how unsettling this whole thing has been. Bear, in particular, seems like a beer and pretzels kind of guy. No real remarkable history to speak of. Until what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the sort of job you walk away from without being fundamentally changed. Neither will this one. So, see what you look like in 15 years.
Did Pizzarelli give you the same directive as he gave me?
What directive did he give you?
I asked first.
We have a job to do. And we have to do it.
And yes, it was.
I feel like there's a moment where they're both kind of, or at least on her end, like sizing him up a little bit. Not in like she feels threatened or she's threatening him, but just kind of okay, he's doing background checks. He's talking to Pizzarelli, which you already knew, but like this is a kid who will go behind her back whenever he feels like he needs to, which I think maybe she respects a little bit, but also, yeah, just taking note of it.
Yeah, I think for him, he's also sizing her up, but I think in a different way. I think there's like maybe a few more moments of awkward pauses and sipping from coffee until he does just say, I come to you with this in the spirit of transparency. I'm not a rat. I do want to work with you all, even Bear at a distance.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, I don't really have anything else to talk about. So I guess I'll just go back to my room until it's roll call time in the morning. Later today. The coffee hasn't kicked in, or maybe the sleep's just not sleeping. And he's just kind of like fumbling to get up.
All right, yeah, I'll text you when we're ready.
And yeah, he'll leave the room, and as soon as he is out, he'll just do this big
Yeah, I think Sarah has a little bit of a smile on her face. Like, he's a bit of a problem, but she kind of likes it at the same time. Right now. Not when he's like firing guns at teammates, but right now it's, yeah, he's young kind of thing.
He's got potential.
Yeah, exactly. As long as we rein in all the other stuff.
While this conversation is going on, I'm assuming it is still pretty early. Bear, Leah, are you sleeping or are you up and moving already?
Leah sleeps when she can get it, I'm not going to lie.
I think Bear kind of has this thing where he expects that he's gonna sleep really late, and then he winds up getting up at like 6 a.m. and trying to go back to sleep and doesn't. So he probably lays there with his eyes closed, trying to go to sleep, but not for a good amount of time. Probably until it's later than he actually intended to get up to begin with.
So I'm assuming everyone reconvenes in Sarah's room before heading out?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, a little morning debrief, I guess.
Powwow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we can pick up with working group Masticate, reorganized and regrouped in Sarah's hotel room.
How far away are we from the shelter?
Hour and a half, yep.
Yeah, I mean, we could head right over. Is there anything else anyone wants to double check or look into before we do?
You'll have to remind me. I didn't show the footage. I only just scanned it myself, right? I didn't show it to the others.
Oh, no, you did. You did show the footage to everybody the previous evening.
Got it. Okay.
I guess if anything, Bear might pull out that pamphlet that they've got again and remind everybody of it and say, this has been bugging me. Look at these 4 people down at the bottom. They look like they're dead on the ground. And there's like a kid standing over them with his hands bloody, but I mean, is that supposed to be us?
No, didn't he have 2 siblings and his parents?
Oh, yeah. That could be it.
What do you think those things are behind here?
I mean, they look like really big dogs, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yes.
But then there's like a couple other figures. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, there's like 3 big dogs. So
With people behind them, behind the sad-looking one?
I think so.
Clearly, whoever drew this didn't feel safe. And Adrian just unceremoniously just takes the paper from Bear and opens up his laptop and starts to and I don't know if what kind of role this would be, but I'd like to try and research what this crossed with this ladder across it, if there's any sort of correlation to any symbolism that he could maybe find.
Ooh. I feel like I've seen that kind of cross before.
So Adrian, as you begin looking up this iconography, this imagery, specifically with regards to the cross, this isn't your first time doing link analysis and figuring out how images may be related to certain locations. And so you plug in a few different descriptors. You try to describe in words what that cross with that weird ladder looks like. You associate it with St. Laurence Church, and you do eventually get a hit. Specifically, you get a Google image result of St. Laurence, the namesake for this church. And in this image, you can see who you presume to be and who is identified as St. Laurence holding this gridiron, which a few minutes worth of Googling will tell you that when St. Laurence was martyred, he was burned alive, essentially, on a gridiron. And so that symbol is associated heavily with him. So you feel pretty confident that that's what that imagery is, the gridiron with the cross, St. Laurence Church. That's where that's coming from.
I'll just sort of relay it out loud. His patronage was those who work with open fires, those whom fire means harm, like librarians, archivists, miners, poor people. And there's a fire in the image. I don't know if there's any kind of relation between the two.
I assume the fire is... that's how we dealt with the place 15 years ago. There's 5 figures there. There were 5 of us at the time.
Oh. Do you think this is a threat then?
I don't know if it's a threat or just a recollection of what happened. We did burn a lot of documents, though, so Saint guy probably is not a big fan of us.
And we're not sure if Thomas or whoever drew this was one of the kids who saw our faces. Or not our faces, but interacted with us.
Is there, looking at the symbol and maybe now knowing that it's St. Laurence, I don't know if that adds anything to it. Do I recall seeing it or anything similar at Cornucopia House 15 years ago?
You don't. Nothing that specifically harkens back to this, but the style, especially with the blood, the teeth, this very childlike drawing, it definitely reminds you of many of the sketches and drawings you found when you went through Cornucopia House 15 years ago. The style is very similar. It's childlike.
Yeah. Okay.
I would just like to point out that St. Laurence was roasted alive, and he is the patron saint of barbecues.
No, the fuck he's not.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of saints though. The one who got her eyes plucked out is like the saint of the blind or something like that. Yeah. Catholics love a good dramatic irony.
He's also the patron saint of butchers.
Is he?
Oh yeah, no, it's an interesting portfolio to say the least. I think Bear would say, as if it just came to him, which it just came to me. Wait a second, you were saying, Doc, that's Thomas. I thought L drew this because we found it next to L.
We found it in Franklin Price's hands.
Yeah, but I thought that L had brought it.
Maybe.
I guess either. If that is Thomas, and it definitely looks like a boy, but I believe that it could be Thomas. But if that's true, then maybe they were together.
Question about how old does this piece of paper look? Does it look like a recent drawing or recent print, or does it look like it might have some age to it?
It is hard to tell because it is crumpled up and it's been through the ringer, but it doesn't appear old. It doesn't appear aged. It's not yellowed. It looks relatively new or recent.
Got it. Okay.
How did Thomas's family die? Was it blunt head trauma? Because that's what it looks like in the picture. So just to confirm if that's them, or was it
there was a lot of stabbing?
There was stabbing. Okay. So I don't know if this is supposed to be highly realistic, but they all have blood on their heads.
Yeah, no.
Safe to say this is probably one of these children killing some group of people, whether they already have or they want to in the future. I think it's safe to say that's what's going on.
It could be L because of the dogs.
Could be you all.
Well, hey, count again. You're included.
I'm not one of the 4.
Why not?
I wasn't there.
Well, you're here now.
Who do you think these 5 are encircling the fire?
I think it's us. 10 years ago.
That makes no sense, especially with the corn. Like, if you look at the green around, I think those are the corn fields.
Or the woods.
Or the woods. It could be trees. Badly drawn trees, but, the children.
I won't even make anybody roll, but because it was so recent, but 3 dogs, you did encounter 3 dogs at Charlotte's Rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Charlotte's Rest.
Potentially.
Potentially, yeah. Elle and her 3 dogs and all of their victims. How many bodies were there in the end? Because we saved Franklin.
Only one, right?
It was one of the nurses?
One of the nurses was killed, yep, and Elle Gable herself.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was somebody who apparently unrelated.
Right when we got there, they had passed.
Right.
And then, since you already mentioned it, yes, Thomas Perez did kill his 2 parents and his 2 foster siblings.
Okay. So yeah,
That's a lot of bodies.
Yep.
this depicts one of the massacres that have happened. Did we look into the history of the church at all yet?
Not yet.
Maybe we should do a quick Google of the church and see what we find.
I will do just that.
Okay.
I think while you guys are doing all this stuff, Bear, feeling a little bit restless, is going to say, you guys want me to go for coffee and donuts or something? If we're not getting on the road right away?
Do you need something to do?
I'm not good at computer stuff.
Sure. You want to make a quick run?
All right, I'll be back in 15. And he will head out to find some coffee and donuts.
Yeah, easy enough. There's probably a Dunkin' Donuts right down the road. But Adrian, Googling St. Laurence Church, you find that it is located in Miami, Florida. And you do find a 2016 Bloomberg report that singled out the Miami metropolitan area as having the worst income inequality in the nation. And it singles out St. Laurence Church as struggling with the symptoms of that ailment. It stands in a crowded neighborhood on the border of Miami's West Flagler and Flagami districts, south of Miami International Airport. The neighborhoods around St. Lawrence are about 90% Hispanic, most of whom work in service jobs. Nearly half have trouble understanding English or do not speak it at all, and the area was devastated by the subprime mortgage crisis of the 2000s. High-income owners from outside the area bought houses from desperate sellers and rented them back to locals at higher and higher rates. People moved, and half the residents have lived here 5 years or less. House prices and rental prices are far beyond what residents can comfortably afford, and the gap keeps growing, but vacancy rates stay low. People need shelter, even if it keeps them poor, until they give up and move to the streets. St. Lawrence is a service-dominated ministry that operates with funds from Catholic Charities USA and the Broward Partnership Pompano Beach Center of Fort Lauderdale. Its main sociological function is as a safety valve on the city's growing homeless population.
Yeah, that would make sense if these kids had come through there at some point. Their connection with the houseless community. If I do any cross-referencing, do I get any pings on Elle or Thomas or anyone related to Cornucopia?
You do not. You do find that St. Lawrence Church is run by Father Mauricio Robledo, about 40 years old.
I'll probably want to do a background check on him later, but I'm good for right now. Actually, no, since we're here, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, you don't find anything significant about Father Robledo. As far as you can tell, he has a flawless record with the Catholic Church. No allegations of impropriety. In fact, he has requested personally to stay at St. Lawrence Church to continue serving the community.
Yeah, tuck that away. It doesn't seem too suspicious, but it could be. But for now, yeah, we'll just put it away.
Bear, do you do anything else while you're out, or do you literally just go get coffee and donuts?
Yeah, no, I think he's just going to go out and get coffee and donuts.
Okay. Anything else we would like to accomplish before we hit the road?
So we've checked out digitally the church itself. Is there anything else we can look up or check, like digitally check out? Like just do like some Google checks and everything? Or, like Adrian could look up.
Did I look up anything on Nika Chiliklov?
You did.
Okay. I thought I did, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's how you confirm that she is on record as a caretaker, an employee of King-Torino.
Yeah, I mean, if we've got nothing else, then I think when Bear gets back, presents the dozen or so donuts and coffee, Adrian, who's already sort of packing up and getting ready to go, he'll just sort of like look at the dozen. You didn't ask what we wanted.
I tried to get an assortment, kid. Is there nothing there you like?
Adrian, looking down, will notice that there's a bear claw in there, and he'll just pick it up and kind of take it into his mouth and walk out.
They get donuts where you guys work, right? I mean, it's not that weird.
No, it's not weird. Thank you for the donuts, Bear. Sarah will grab one.
Yeah, thank you for breakfast. Leah grabs 2.
Yeah, Bear will just eat the rest over the course of the day, probably.
One other thing I will quickly note is that in the course of your research and in the course of being sent on this task by Pizzarelli, at some point you would have confirmed or had confirmed for you that Crystal Killian's last known address was a trailer park called Myers Point in Felda, Florida, which is in Hendry County. Just for your situational awareness.
Okay.
But with that, do we get on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Adrian is still driving his personal vehicle.
Yes.
Excellent. So, with Adrian in his car, Sarah, Leah, and Bear in the Pizzarelli ride, you all begin the hour and a half or so drive to King-Torino Children's Refuge in Charlotte. During that drive, do you all discuss anything? Is it pretty quiet? Are we focused on the task at hand?
I'd say so, or at least for Adrian.
Yeah, I don't think there's a specific conversation that Sarah will start.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leah's got nothing.
I'm going to show you a quick handout for the King-Torino grounds. So that should be appearing for you now.
Okay.
So King-Torino Children's Refuge occupies a once swanky 3-story home that has been run down by decades of institutionalized living. The area around the refuge has become a bustling suburb since the once secluded house was built. But the land around King-Torino remains undeveloped despite being sold off down to its final acre. Frequent screaming from children and psychotic meltdowns and the need for staff to restrain them physically, often dragging them back inside as they scream for help, makes neighboring the King-Torino house undesirable. Dormitories take up the top floor of the building, separated by gender and joined by a hallway with a central staff station for a night watch. The main floor contains the kitchen, bathrooms, living room, and classrooms added to the home as an extension in the mid-2000s. Among the schoolrooms are 3 padded isolation cells for residents in crisis. The bottom floor contains staff lockers and 2 therapists' office. That portion of the building remains off limits to children, though they pass through it escorted to the backyard through the basement's exterior door. A large, well-manicured lawn slopes down from the house's rear as the play and recreation area. It is fenced in and surrounded by thick woods. All of this information is listed on the About Us webpage of the facility, which appears to have taken a policy of total transparency as a form of protection from accusations of wrongdoing. The faces of children, for purposes of confidentiality, are blurred out in the photographs.
Would we know, is King-Torino a place where you have to be sent by a court? You had to do something to qualify you to have to go here? Or would this have been like the first place they sent some people?
It would have been the first place they sent some people, specifically at-risk children or children in need of serious psychiatric care.
Okay, so the qualifying thing would be that they were nonverbal and needed serious psychiatric care, probably.
Yeah.
All right.
Adrian, I'm guessing you were doing a lot of Google searching and checking on these locations. Did you check out King-Torino at all during that?
I was actually going to ask, if I could have done that at some point.
I think that's fair. Yeah, especially while you're waiting for Bear to get back. What you find is that, and this is all available again on the public webpage, but the King-Torino Children's Refuge was willed to Busby Behavioral Hygiene in 1995 by the late Dr. Elaine Fitzsimmons. Dr. Fitzsimmons had been an activist against the militarization of mental health interventions since the Reagan administration, especially with regard to children. The gift was contingent upon the property's use as a mental health facility for adolescents and its continued use as an alternative to juvenile incarceration. Owing to the tendency of many developmental disorders, conduct disorders, and callous, unemotional children who receive these initial diagnoses through interactions with law enforcement, King-Torino began specializing in adolescent disorders with extreme behavioral components, and that's primarily who they service. So mainly children who will end up in the system or have been in the system or may be subject to juvenile arrest and incarceration. That's who this refuge aims to assist.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect place to help kids like Elle and Thomas.
Our approach here, right, in an official capacity, is that we're following up on, these kids stayed here and now they've committed murders, right?
Right.
Okay. I want to make sure to know what to say when we show up.
And you do know for a fact that El Gable was once institutionalized here.
Yeah, okay.
And as a refresher, there were 4 children in particular who ended up here. So Nika Chilikov, El Gable, Conrad Hopko, and Jennifer Wills.
And Conrad and Jennifer, we haven't interacted with them yet, right? They aren't any of Elle's group?
Not that you know of. The only names so far you have for Elle's group, the so-called quiet children, are El Gable, Thomas Perez, and John Doe.
And John Doe, okay. All right, yeah, we'll pull up and Sarah, I guess we'll get out and head in. Does it look like are there people about?
There are, yeah. As a matter of fact, as you pull up and kind of do your drive-by of the facility, you can see children are already playing in the recreation area out back.
Adrian will follow Sarah into the facility.
You are greeted by one of the many staff members working at King-Torino. Young woman, probably about 28, 27 maybe. And she is manning the front desk in the main entryway into the facility. And she looks up and says, "Hi, good morning. Can I help you?"
Hi, yeah, my name is Agent Adams, and I kind of briefly flash my ID. We have been investigating some cases where it seems like a former resident of yours has been involved in homicides, and we wanted to see if there was some people that we could talk to discuss their time spent here.
Oh my God. That's awful. Okay. Who is it you're looking for?
We're not necessarily looking for her anymore. It was El Gable, and I want to see if there's any reaction.
There's none.
Unfortunately, she was one of 3 suspects involved in a couple homicides. We were able to track her down, but we are worried that she's connected to potentially some more children that have spent time at your shelter here.
Okay. That's disconcerting. Is there anybody specifically you're looking for that I can get the head physician and...
Nika Chilikov?
Oh, Nika. Yeah, she works here as a caretaker. Would you like to speak with her?
If possible, yes.
Yeah, she is currently in the back. She's supervising playtime. You can head on back and speak with her.
Adrian will sort of look to Sarah almost as if for the go ahead.
Yeah, she kind of gives a little nod.
And yeah, he sort of moves in. He's a bit sheepish, but he moves in. And, yeah, he's going to make his way towards Nika.
I will go with him.
I'm guessing Leah and Bear are going as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the staffer stands up and realizing you don't know your way around the facility, starts leading you towards the back, kind of giving you a little tour as she goes, recounting some of the same information you heard or you read in the internet search you did. But eventually you come to the backyard of King-Torino. And you can see a bunch of children, probably half a dozen, maybe more, running around the backyard, playing on some of the equipment. It seems stressfully chaotic, as watching children play of various ages often is. But at the center of it is this young woman, probably 22, no older than 22, supervising everyone, calmly redirecting them if they grow too rash or too violent in play. And just seems very kind of silently confident in her management and oversight of these kids. But as you approach, that confidence seems to wither. She turns to regard you as you walk up, and her posture visibly closes. Her breath takes on this rhythmic uncertainty of a barely contained panic attack. Yes, hello?
Nika Chilikov?
Yes. I am Nika Chilikov, yes. And Adrian, being a Russian speaker, you recognize the accent is probably Ukrainian.
Got it. Does it look apparent to us that she's about to have like a panic attack or something, or
not about to, like she's not on the verge of losing her complete composure, but she is definitely, that confidence you kind of observed on your approach is now gone, and she seems visibly nervous, visibly taken aback by being approached by adults and having to deal with adults.
My human's only like 15, so I'm not sure I'd pick up on that.
I would ask, do any of us recognize her?
That's hard,
Yeah.
considering it was 15 years ago.
Yeah. And she was much different.
Much different, in much worse condition. Not the only girl there.
Maybe like a history with a -20 or something like that, or
Yeah, that's a good idea. Roll an int ×5 with a -20.
Ooh. That even makes it with a -20.
Yeah, holy shit.
A 19 out of 40.
That comes out to a 39 out of 40, and Daphne with 47 under 80. There's something vaguely familiar about her. And in the chaos of that night, it was hard to commit faces to memory. Especially since most of you never thought you'd have to see any of these kids again. But there is a sense of familiarity there.
Do I get the sense that she recognizes us at all?
You do not.
we with the FBI, and we're actually investigating a homicide case. There is a young woman here who was a resident, El Gable. Does that name ring any bells?
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, it does.
What was your relationship with her?
We came from the same place before we came here together.
Is there somewhere private where we could have a conversation about that?
I am so sorry. I truly am. I would, if it is all right with you, I'd much rather remain out here so I could watch the children, please.
Adrian says in like perfect Russian that I can't speak, but he says, it's okay. You can trust them. They're only here to help.
She looks taken aback at hearing fluent Russian. She nods. She seems reassured, maybe, to an extent. But she says, we can stand over here?
We don't have to go out of sight of the children. I understand you want to watch them and keep them safe. I just wanted to reassure you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. But yes, I will answer whatever questions you have as best I can. I don't remember much about where we came from. I try not to think about it. When I do, I miss too much work. I do not want to talk about this. I suffered as a child. Things were bad, but I don't know if they were more bad than what any of these children have suffered. People came and stopped them, and then I was here. That is all I care to remember of it.
Were there other children from that place that stayed here with you?
Yes. There was Elle, and there was a young boy, blonde. But the others, I was not one of them by the time Elle was sent away. Jennifer ran not long after that. They were younger than me, and I was dead to them the second I began speaking to Dr. Bryce. They were the quiet children, and I rejected their silence. You either spoke, or you were part of the tribe. There was no middle ground. You knew it in your bones.
Bryce said he adopted you.
He is mistaken. I have been here since the beginning.
Can I do a human check to see if that's like the truth, or if maybe there's anything that she might be hiding?
Go for it.
62 out of 87.
She is telling the truth.
Okay.
I don't think I was ever really the same as them. I think I was suppressing something so I wouldn't be alone, something that had been cut out of them. They never forgave me. I spiraled really hard after that. I tried to go back, but they were so cruel. They would have made me a slave to their cruelty, to their silence. I'm lucky I survived long enough to see them go.
This was here or back at Cornucopia House?
No, this was here with Elle, the blonde boy, and Jennifer.
I'm sorry.
Does the name Samuel mean anything?
Samuel?
Yeah, is that maybe the blonde boy?
No. I believe the boy's name was Conrad? Conradin, maybe?
Was that a name on like one of the animal tags?
Make it N times 5 roll.
Oh my gosh, it's something. It's right there. Or the poem, maybe? Oh, I failed.
It was he was Conradin was the guy in the Srini Vashnar.
Okay, it was the poem.
Wasn't it?
I don't know, I failed my int check.
Yeah, with an 87 out of 80. The name is ringing bells, but you're not sure how or why.
Okay.
Conrad was, the name of the protagonist.
Correct. If you want to make an N times 5 roll, go ahead.
Sure.
It was a blonde kid with the ferret that gave you that book.
Yes, it was.
That was him.
It was him.
And with a 19 out of 85, you remember that, Dr. Caron.
I think she'll just whisper to Sarah, Conradin was the name of the protagonist of the book where that poem came from, the Sredni Vashtar one. And I think also the same child who gave that book to me.
Do you know where Conradin is now?
I don't know. And honestly, they don't know either. They just act. I remember being with them. We saw the world as something hungry, hateful, a predator, and everyone else served it. People who smiled wanted to feed you to it, but even at our angriest, there was no why, no choice, only instinct. I sometimes wonder if it is still like that for the others, and if they are right, if imagining control is its own form of madness.
How did you break out of it? You said you just decided to?
Well, clinically, I suffer developmental impairments as a result of poor infant nutrition and late-stage language acquisition. The others suffer from what many call selective mutism, but their silence is not a choice or physical impairment. They just never learned to speak. In classes, they would scream and claw during the lesson, during any speech. I joined them at first. We resisted the call to join the monsters in adulthood. Their words were poison, a flag of evil armies. I met Dr. Bryce then. I was weakened. I was older, and words came back. I no longer feared them, and I listened to the lessons. One night, Elle stabbed me with scissors while I slept. They bounced off my skull and landed in my shoulder, which is what saved me. She was shipped away the next day. Eventually, all of them left like that.
Why do you think that Price made that claim about you, that he'd adopted you?
I don't know. I remember he used to come to the other place. Maybe, it was guilt? Like he was remembering things he was supposed to have forgotten? I don't know.
Why do you think he was supposed to forget things, as opposed to just forgetting?
I don't want to talk about what happened there, please.
All right. It's fair.
Did you have an animal?
Please, I don't want to talk about this. At that point, a thin man, wearing only cargo pants that barely hang on his wasting hips, emerges from the emerald green foliage that hedges off the tall fence around the backyard. His flesh is pocked with sores and improvised tattoos. His crazed eyes dart wildly. His left hand drags a pair of bolt cutters. The cutters look almost too heavy for him until he whips around in a wide, dangerous arc with his sinewy, almost double-jointed arm. He twists at the waist to survey his surroundings, unable to turn his neck due to some rictus in the tendons. He seems disoriented and uncertain until he sees you. And then he lets loose this barbaric yawp of joy. He's at the edge of the play area, just on the other side of the fence. But Nika, hearing that sound, that exclamation from this man, turns to see him and bursts into tears as she recognizes him. Oh my God, that is Samuel.
Get the kids inside now. Get the kids inside now.
No sooner does Ball appear than this huge, loping, four-legged shape comes through the same gap in the trees and sprints directly towards Chilikov. This man, with this cunning look in his eye, withdraws again into the tree and bushes. I need everyone to make a sanity roll, please.
Okay.
So, Sarah, with an 85 out of 46, I need you to roll 1d4. Dr. Caron, with a 29 out of 64, you lose nothing. Adrian, with a 22, a critical out of 73, you lose nothing. And Bear, with a 1 out of 41, you lose nothing. Unfortunately, Sarah, you lose 4 sanity from violence. Do you project?
Hell yeah, I do. I don't have just a spare, man.
All right, go ahead and roll 1d4.
4.
Okay, so reduce your willpower points by that amount. Reduce your SAM loss by that amount, so 0 lost. And then reduce a bond score by that amount. Everyone may attempt to use one skill in this very brief moment. Human, psychotherapy, or survival. Let me know what you pick.
I'll pick humans.
Yeah, same for me.
Human as well.
Bear, I think you've got some in survival, don't you?
No. I should. Unfortunately, being police, humans, one of my better ones also.
So Bear with a 31 out of 50 in human. Sarah with an 18 out of 87 for human. Dr. Caron with a 61 out of 42 for human, which is a failure. And Adrian, with a 5 out of 15 for human, the only thing you register in this moment is that Chilikov will not retreat to the house unless the children are safe. She is actively trying to get the attacker's attention, specifically the bear, giving the kids time to run. You get no more than that. What is required is action, any action, right now, as the bear is charging you. Adrian, you are up.
I mean, instinctively, I think, yeah, he's going to, like, he hates children, but seeing Nika just sort of, like, in that standoff position and not willing to compromise, he is going to rush over and, like, just try to, like, drag a couple of the kids away into the safety of the building as much as he can.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics roll.
It's going to be good. Nope.
Yeah, with a 41 out of 30. You thankfully don't trip as you begin sprinting across the yard to get to some of these kids. But are you like waving your arms? Are you shouting? Are you directing them? What does this look like?
I think that he's just scared shitless for this bear. That's, I mean, you know, who would expect to see a bear wandering into a playground like this? So I think that, like, he's rushing towards them, and he notices as he's getting closer the immensity of the bear, and that's probably why he isn't able to catch up, because as much as he's trying to just sort of be an agent and, like, get the kids to safety, the bear is right there, and I think it throws him off his game a bit.
Yeah, you find yourself instinctually continuously looking back over your shoulder to look at this giant fucking bear that came out of nowhere, and you're not able to close the distance to those kids in time. You're not able to get your hands around any of them, but you watch as Nika begins rounding some of them up and urging them, begging them to go inside. With that, the man that Nika has identified as Samuel Ball is no longer in view. What he's doing remains to be seen. So, Bear, our Bear, you're up.
I think Bear is going to charge forward and pull out his semi-automatic, and he's going to take a shot at the bear.
Go ahead and roll firearms.
No, that's a double hot.
With a 100 out of 80, you pull your pistol and you sight in on this bear. It's not hard to hit from this close. And you squeeze the trigger, and your stomach sinks as you hear a click. The weapon has malfunctioned and will take a turn to clear.
Oh no.
So with that, we move on to Sarah. You're up.
Okay. Would it be helpful for me to do like a persuade roll to try and help Nika like round up the kids in a more efficient way and get them into safety, or would that kind of just be a waste of time? Is that something that could be helpful?
I would say no. At this point, just due to the sheer chaos, Nika has that handled, and in fact, she's probably has a better working relationship with these kids, so they're more likely to listen to her than you.
Okay, then I will get my pistol out and also try to shoot this bear.
Okay, go ahead and roll firearms.
Oh God. Success.
57 out of 60. Go ahead and roll your 1d10 damage.
7.
7.
And if I can, I would like to have tried to position myself between the bear and Nika. So if it's going to get to her, not that I will stop. My body will stop a charging bear, but at the very least would have to go over me first.
You pull the trigger, the gun goes off, and your bullet strikes. But this thing is so heavily muscled, covered by so much hide and fur, you don't even know if it's done anything. You can hear it let out this groan that might be in pain, or it might be just in rage and hunger and whatever else is motivating this thing to go after you all and Nika. But you do hit it.
God, okay.
Dr. Caron, you're up.
I would only have like a pistol, right? Because that's the concealed carry.
Yep.
And as a reminder, I did buy a Kevlar vest for everyone before we left, so y'all are probably wearing those at least.
Yes, most likely.
So pistol, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Oh no.
With a 99 out of 46. Thankfully, Nika and the kids are behind you. Otherwise, we'd probably be talking about a different situation. However, as with Bear, You don't know if you left the safety on, if this weapon even has a safety. You don't know if you remembered to rack around in the chamber. You don't know what could have caused this, but when you pull the trigger, it just goes click. So you're gonna have to take a turn to fix it.
Fuck. Okay.
Oh boy, that means the bear is up. It charges and is going for you, Sarah, since you're immediately putting yourself right in between it and Nika.
Yeah, fair.
And it is going to try to claw at you. However, with an 80 out of 50, you are dexterous enough and light on your feet enough to step just out of its reach as it goes to claw you. This thing is big and it is fast, but you're able to step out of the way just as it takes a swipe at you, and you avoid taking any damage. There is something, though, especially with this bear being so close to you now. There's something in the back of your mind, and you feel this inexplicable kinship with this thing. I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a POW times 5 roll.
Okay. Nope.
With a 91 out of 70, you look into this thing's eyes, riding on this sense of familiarity, this sense of kinship, and for a moment you think maybe there's a connection. Maybe you can will this thing like Samuel is doing, like Elle maybe did with the dogs, but maybe this bear is too far gone, but it continues to come at you, enraged, aggressive. With that, we're back to the top. Adrian, what do you do?
I think I'm just going to try and keep helping Nika. I keep saying Nika.
I won't make you make a athletics roll or anything at this point since you've closed the distance. You start helping her round up the kids. They kind of shy away from you and go more towards her, but she's starting to get these kids inside. And soon, most, if not all of them, are back safely indoors, with only 2 or 3 maybe still remaining out here. But with your help, begins rounding them up and urging them back into the building.
I'm going to stay in there with her just in case Samuel has any other tricks up his sleeve.
Okay. Bear, you are up.
I think Bear, rather than trying to clear his gun, seeing that's happened, he's just going to go on instinct here, and he's going to charge forward, and he's going to kick this bear as hard as he can. I'm assuming that would be the same as using a fist, so melee.
No, unarmed combat.
Yeah. That's a success.
With a 50 out of 80, yeah, go ahead and roll your 1d4.
That's 3. He's wailing on this bear.
Unfortunately, the strike doesn't appear to do much, other than just piss it off. And it turns and snaps at you, and snaps at your leg, completely unfazed by getting a boot to the chest or to the back or wherever the hit ended up landing. But it is utterly undisturbed by this strike.
I'm essentially just trying to attract attention of the bear to me and give them a chance to fire, since I don't have a gun. If I had a gun, I'd be shooting it. Yeah.
Well, you can clear it. You can clear the malfunction and get it back up and running.
Yeah, that's a round though.
It is a round. Yeah. Which brings us to Sarah. Sarah, what's the next move? Shooting it again?
So, assuming that Samuel just kind of like, you said he like backed into like the woods and out of sight?
Correct.
How far away is that? Like, is that something where we could like, assuming he's like right there still, we could like run and engage him? Or would that be a couple turns?
That would be a couple turns, yeah. And then you would have to find him because he's been moving this entire time as well.
Okay. Yeah, because remembering that the dog seemed normal when Elle died, but if he's like too far out of reach, I don't think maybe going to kill him the move right now. Can I try to make another power move? Can I try to connect with this thing again? Or did I failed and it's too late to try again?
I'll give you another shot. Yeah, go ahead and attempt another POW times 5.
Okay, yeah. Like, everything is screaming at her to shoot this thing again, especially with it like literally just about on top of her. But like remembering having sat with that dog for a minute as it came down and kind of realizing like these things are just being compelled. This is probably not what this bear wants to be doing. She is going to try, she's going to kind of not completely lower her gun, but enough to be clear that she's not shooting and try again.
With that rationale and justification, I am definitely comfortable with letting you try again.
Okay, cool. Success.
19 out of 70. What do you want it to do?
I think there's a moment where she realizes like almost like something's clicked into place and there is a connection there. She's going to like put her arms out, but more to like the people around her and like talking both to them and to this bear, just being like, stop. Like, so no one pisses it off by hitting it again after this. And also like trying to get the bear to just fucking stop in its tracks. And then from there, assuming she can tell it to do something else, like she's going to tell it to get the fuck out of here. Go be a bear.
It stops for a minute and it drops to its hindquarters in this strangely, dare I say, almost innocent sitting position, looking at you all confused, chuffing and huffing. And then like that, it turns and lopes off back into the woods.
She is standing there stunned.
Go ahead and make a sanity roll for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Valid. Failed. That's okay.
You lose 1.
Okay, that's fair.
Because in no rational mind should that have even been possible.
No, she's taken bear defense classes. That is not anything on the list of things you should do.
Well, the bear is retreating, which brings us to Dr. Caron. What's the next move?
Is Samuel still around?
You do not see him. You haven't seen him since that bear charged and he retreated back into the woods.
Okay. I think she's just going to like kind of not getting in the way of the retreating bear, but like get in the way between everyone else and where Samuel disappeared, just to see if she can catch a glimpse of him.
Make an alertness roll.
Well, 43 out of 60.
Having driven up to the facility, having a general idea for the layout, you suspect that if Samuel were still in the area, judging by the direction he went in, it is entirely possible he was maneuvering around to the side to use a side entrance to get into the building.
All right. She will convey that to the others. Pretty sure Samuel went into the building through one of the side entrances. I don't think they're safe in there.
Okay, assume he's going after Nika. We have to go.
Yep.
Adrian, you are up.
Do I see or hear any sign of trouble?
Make an alertness roll.
Okay. Oh.
With a 99 out of 48.
Yeah, the adrenaline I think is just too much. It's pumping, his blood's pumping, his heart's pumping. You know, the kids are probably also like loud and crying and trying to figure out what's going on. And yeah, I think that's probably why Adrian is preoccupied.
That's exactly it. In fact, these screaming and crying children, the sounds are just reverberating off of the floors and the walls, and it's almost overwhelming. It's sensory overload to an extent. Make a sanity roll for me.
Wow, this is relatable. Hold on.
With a 4 out of 73, you manage to remain grounded just enough to focus and to not lose your cool, not just yet, and stay focused on getting these kids to safety. But with that being your turn, you do turn to look down the hall, and you can see who Nika identified as Samuel Ball, charging down the hallway, his bare feet slapping the tile, dragging those bolt cutters behind him, yipping and yowling almost like a hyena or a jackal that has caught sight of its prey, making a beeline for you and for Nika. He will have reached you by the next turn. So, with that, we are up to Bear Swenson.
All right. Bear is going to reach to his side and pull out. He's got a collapsible baton. That would be something that would be reasonable to carry, like concealed, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So he pulls out this collapsible baton, shakes it out, and runs into the building after Dr. Caron.
Yeah, you manage, I would say you're close enough to the entrance to the building that you're able to get inside, at least through the threshold, to before your turn ends.
Would I see Samuel coming?
Not just yet, but you do see Nika, you see the kids, you see Adrian, and you notice Adrian is looking down the hallway to his left.
All right. Then, yeah, I guess I'll wait until next turn.
Sarah, you are up.
Yeah, I think also hearing what Dr. Caron said, also going inside as fast as I can to get to where Nika is.
Dr. Caron, you doing the same?
Yes.
So we'll assume then that everybody manages to retreat back into the children's refuge. Nika is in the process of pushing all of these kids into one of the side rooms, a classroom, getting them out of harm's way, getting them out of the hallway, and looking over her shoulder, tears still streaming down her face towards Samuel. Adrian, you are up.
Are the kids in front of me or behind me?
Behind you.
In that case, fuck. Yeah, in that case, I'm gonna try and shoot.
Go for it.
And I'm gonna shout, "Get down!" And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Go ahead and make a roll. With a 3 out of 23, go ahead and roll your damage. 1d10.
4.
Thinking back to that first dog, your first kill for all intents and purposes in the field, you sight in on this man and you squeeze the trigger and you pop off a shot and you catch him just in his upper thigh. And you can see the spray of blood spatter against the tile of the floor, these painted cement blocks of the walls. And he stops just for a moment, limps, and resumes his gait towards you all. He comes up onto you, now very much within melee distance, and goes to swipe at you with the bolt cutters. With a 68, unfortunately, this man is almost impossibly skinny, obviously afflicted with all of the various maladies and ailments that come from prolonged drug use. And he can barely lift these bolt cutters, but nevertheless, he tries to swipe, and these things go in a wide arc just past your chest and almost cause him to spin around entirely. But he catches himself, unfortunately, having missed you entirely. So with that, we are up to Bear now. Bear Swenson, once again.
I am going to, seeing him swing these bolt cutters and go wide like that, I'm going to attempt to disarm the bolt cutters from him. So hopefully that means he'll be able to do less damage. Can I move forward enough to put myself in between him and everybody else, pretty much?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, a 94.
He sees you coming, and with this odd yip, kind of backs up just enough to avoid your attempt to grab onto him, to grab those bolt cutters, to rip them from his grasp. And unfortunately, yeah, that's a failure.
Okay.
But Sarah, you are up.
Where is Nika at this point?
Nika is behind you all. So Samuel is coming down from the left side of the hallway. Nika and the kids are down the right side.
Okay. And if I were to shoot, since Bear is right there, is there any kind of, I'm assuming if I fumble, I might hit him, but is there any other additional risk?
No.
Okay, I'm going to shoot him. I took your bear, get fucked.
That's making it into the edit.
11 out of 60.
With an 11 out of 60, that is indeed a critical. Go ahead and roll your 1d10 times 2, please.
Please roll decent. 10.
Oh, he dead.
You squeeze off a shot, Sarah, and you catch him just in the side of his head. You're not sure if it's a full-on headshot, but you see the spray of blood and he drops, almost like a marionette with its strings cut. All of his weight goes out from underneath him and his legs buckle and he just falls backwards, unconscious and unmoving. But given the rise and fall of his chest, he is still alive.
Okay.
Triage.
Do you want to do that?
Try. Question mark. I'm going to make it look like I'm trying.
She goes next, right?
She does go next. So, Dr. Caron, what is your action?
She's going to make it look like she's trying to save him. She's not trying to save him.
So we'll just say then that you kneel down beside him, ostensibly to administer first aid, or at least to appear like you are, but you do nothing with your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. With that, Adrian, you are up.
I'm going to approach seeing Dr. Caron there. Dr. Caron, are you like miming that you're helping, or are you just sort of crouched beside him?
She's like just making sure that her hand is on the pulse and making it look like she's trying to administer first aid, but it's not actually doing it.
I know that Pizzarelli said that what we need to do is, do we need to do it in front of these kids though?
And I will say we are out of combat, so everyone can proceed.
I think Bear takes a step towards him and raises his baton, and you can see that there's blood in his eyes. He is going to kill this guy.
Adrian has his gun pointed up at him if he's approaching.
When he sees Adrian and all that, he stops for a second and he looks around and he realizes where he is, and he just stops.
Sarah is going up and shooting Samuel, unless someone stops her. But yeah, that's like kind of seeing them look at Bear. She's like, okay, well, someone's got to do it.
Well, I think Adrian will like put up his hand and say, wait.
He's going to bleed out in just a second.
And if he doesn't, we can at least take him out of here.
Where?
Away from these children.
Dr. Caron, go ahead and make a medicine roll.
39 out of 60.
The head wound is not fatal, at least not immediately. It was enough for him to lose consciousness and potentially result in some brain damage. But the gunshot wound that Adrian delivered to his thigh almost certainly severed the femoral artery, and he is likely going to bleed out very quickly, very soon.
He is going to die.
Are we alone in the hallway at this point?
Nika is still by that door to the room where she ushered the children, shaking, hands kind of clutched at her chest, at her mouth, eyes wide, sobbing, watching you all.
It's just Nika, though, not the kids?
Correct.
He's going to bleed out from the bullet wound in his thigh more quickly than the bullet wound to the head, and he's not in any condition to stop the bleeding himself. This man is going to die in minutes.
Minutes? That's too long. And I kind of like lower my voice. I mean, Nika knows this probably already, but like, we don't know what the fuck is fully going on here, or what is the thing that is driving these kids. We don't know what it's capable of. We cannot take risks. We need to end this now. If you guys don't want to do it, I will do it.
Bear's going to walk back to Nika, and if he can't convince her to go, like, turn away, he's going to just block her view.
Make a persuade roll for me. And Adrian, while he's doing that, make an alertness roll.
That's a 98. I guess he's just spreading his arms, saying, you don't want to see this.
With that 98 out of 41, Nika is begging you to let her see Samuel, to let her talk to him. But you do manage, with your considerable size, to block what's going on behind you from view. Adrian, with that 22 out of 48, a critical success for that alertness roll. Something changes, maybe in the hitch of Samuel's breath, but something draws your attention and you look down. And you see that Samuel's eyes are open now. But they're looking up almost sightlessly, like he's trying desperately to focus in on your face, but his eyes just won't cooperate. Maybe a result of the traumatic head injury he just sustained, but as flitting as his gaze may be in this moment, as he tries to sight in on you and the others around him, he bares his teeth in this wide grin, this smile of almost rapturous joy.
I'm not good at human, but I just want to see if I can get anything deeper beyond this.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and roll human.
30.
30 out of 15. Yeah, it's hard to tell. This is just such an unusual reaction, not like anything you've ever seen before.
It is.
And it's hard to pin down what exactly is motivating this.
I think seeing Sarah quick to act and like ready to fire in a school, and Bear eyes red and bloody and bloodshot, and seeing Dr. Caron just doing nothing, he is going to let his head sink a bit, and he is going to put his hand over the smile of this young man, pressing his thumb and his pointer finger against the sides of his nose, holding it shut until he stops moving.
Everyone else can clearly see this. Does anybody react?
I mean, she's fine with the fact that Samuel will die faster. I think what Sarah is worried about is that, like, he's going to bite Adrian or, like, something along those lines. So the body's, I assume, spasms. You can't really control that. But is Samuel looking like he's getting aggressive again?
Make a human roll for me.
Okay.
Man also has like less than a minute. He hit a fem artery and he's bleeding still.
82 out of 87 for that human roll, Sarah. Something in the back of your mind tells you that he is surrendering, and his body remains motionless underneath Adrian's weight.
Okay. And there's probably a moment where she like almost makes a motion to do something, who knows what, but then she just stops and takes a step back and lets it happen.
Dr. Caron, with you feigning the administration of first aid to Samuel Ball, you would have been the first to see it. But now that, Sarah, you are there next to him, Adrian, you are leaning over him, putting your weight on his head, on his face, closing his mouth and nose shut. Bear, you haven't quite seen it yet because you're still dealing with Nika.
Yeah.
But looking down, you see that Samuel has a tattoo on his inner right forearm. An open, fanged mouth with blackness inside. And in that moment, you realize that he is undoubtedly one of Carrie Houghton's murderers. But also in that moment, watching this man die, you feel this connection to him, as some of you may have with Elle. That maybe you're two sides of the same coin, both serving something unspeakable, unknowable in its way. But that lingering feeling of connection, of kinship, is there ever so slightly. Adrian, as you hold his mouth and nose shut, he involuntarily bucks once and then twice. As the rise and fall of his emaciated chest becomes more rapid, more ragged, as he struggles for breath, and Leah, you watch as that arterial blood pumps out of that wound in his leg. And then finally it stops. And Adrian, you can no longer feel that sickly warmth against the palm of your hand. And he goes terribly still beneath you. And those eyes that were darting to and fro, trying to focus, are now completely sightless. Everyone go ahead and make a sanity roll.
Including Bear?
I won't say for you, Bear, because you're not there witnessing this directly.
Yeah, okay.
Dr. Caron, with a 64 out of 64, you are weathering the worst of this. Sarah, with an 86 out of 45, and Adrian, with a 93 out of 73. Go ahead and roll 1d4.
1.
Nice.
Damn it. 4.
Adrian, you lose 1. Sarah, you lose 4 unless you want to project.
Oh, God. If I lose 4, I hit my breaking point. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to do it for the drama because it's fun? Or do I want to play the game? Okay, I think what happens is this. I think when they first heard about Samuel, he was presumably this little kid from this horrific circumstance that went missing. And for whatever reason, people stopped looking. And I think she looks at this man, and having worked on so many missing persons cases over the years, especially since Cornucopia House, and a lot of them involving children, I think there is a moment that it breaks her, that it's just so personal. She remembers that, like, this was a little boy who was on that property where I was 15 years ago. And now look where we both are. And is there something I could have done differently that could have prevented all of this? And I think she breaks. I think she just walks away. Like, it hits her very quickly and very suddenly, even though she was like, we need to kill him now that he's gone. Yeah, she breaks.
You don't go temporarily insane, but because you hit your breaking point, go ahead and reset it to your current sanity minus your power, and that's your new breaking point. And then we will pick a new disorder, your second one.
Okay, yeah, no, she walks out of the building.
As he was dying, Bear would have, been approaching her slowly, his arms open wide. He's like blocking her view, but he also, as he gets close enough, he sort of opens his arms as if to invite a hug from her. And I don't know if she reciprocates or if she pulls away or what, but I think Bear is just gonna look at her and say, He's dying. You don't have to watch this. He's not gonna make it.
Upon hearing that, she lets out this audible, anguished sob and tries to dart around you. Do you let her?
I think no. I think he's going to just try and hold her back.
Okay, I won't even make you roll. She is so small that with your considerable size and strength, you're able to bar her path. But you do notice it's gone quiet behind you, and you hear the main entrance doors close. And if you turn, you notice that Sarah is no longer with the group.
I think Bear is still sort of holding her back, and he's just kind of like whispering in her ear, sort of, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we couldn't do more. I'm sorry for everything.
Adrian gets up away from Samuel, leaving him for Dr. Caron to deal with, and gets behind Bear and says, Agent Adams, she's waiting for us outside. We need to secure the scene, make sure that everything's taken care of. And as he's saying this, he's trying to keep eye contact with Nika.
I think Bear will let Nika go and say, I think it's safe to go to him now.
Nika brushes past the both of you and runs over to where Samuel's body lies. Kneels next to him for a second, looks at him, and then falls sort of with her back to the wall and slumps down to a seated position, cradling her face in her hands and sobbing quietly.
And in Russian, Adrian will tell her, I don't know who he's with, whether it's with God or something else, but he's not suffering anymore, at least not here.
See the barest perceptible nod as other Children's Refuge staffers now begin to emerge from their hiding places, going to check on the children, letting them out of that locked room, getting them deeper into the facility, up to the dormitories on the upper floors, shielding their eyes from the sight of Samuel Ball. Dr. Caron, what are you doing?
Before she had been fading, trying to basically stop the bleeding and making sure that he actually, is dead. But now I think she's going to try to call it in to get police on the scene to identify him as Samuel and then get that ball rolling. So it's now 2 of the 3 are dead. We only have Thomas Perez left.
Make a medicine roll for me real quick, and then Jack, make an N times 5 roll for me.
All right, medicine, let's do it. Yes! 29 out of 60.
20 out of 80.
Love it. Dr. Caron, you know that if you want this to appear as if you were genuinely trying to save this man's life, you would need to apply a tourniquet to his upper leg.
Yep.
Which would help sell the legitimacy of your life-saving attempts.
Yep.
But for you, Adrian, you recognize Samuel's face from the mugshot that was provided to you by Pizzarelli with the facial recognition results from the footage you retrieved from Carrie Houghton's apartment. You know that this man that Nika identified as Samuel Ball is the same man in that mugshot. The John Doe from Florida.
And in the video.
And in the video.
Yeah, Adrian will nod. Looks like Dr. Caron has everything kind of covered.
If you would take Nika away from here and away from the dead body, I'd appreciate it.
Nika. And he'll say in Russian again, you should come.
She doesn't resist. She nods and pushes herself up to her feet and goes wherever you lead her.
I think we're just going to follow the same path that Sarah left.
How is Sarah doing?
I think she's back out in like the play area. She's kind of just standing off, probably has her back to like the door, kind of like almost looking out in the direction where the bear went, and just standing there quietly.
Yeah, Adrian, do you take Nika out to the front or to the back?
I think I'll just take her out to the... I'll take her out to the back.
Bear, what are you up to? You going with them?
Is the hallway pretty much clear? There doesn't appear to be any dangers. I'm going to check before I go.
Yeah, no other threats, no other signs of danger. There are a couple of staffers that are hanging around waiting for law enforcement to arrive and paramedics. But other than that, nothing that looks like it poses a threat.
Bear's going to go to Dr. Caron and say, is there anything I can do to help?
Do you have a tie on?
These days, agents don't wear ties, do they?
They don't, but you do have a belt.
Ah, I pull off my belt.
Okay, great. She takes that, uses that as a makeshift tourniquet, just to sell the scene, basically. Sorry, you're never going to get this belt back.
That's all right. I'm gonna go check on Marion.
Go for it. We're just waiting for the paramedics and the police here.
Yeah, Bear will walk out with the rest of them.
Adrian, Bear, you step out to the backyard and see Sarah kind of staring off into the wood line with Nika in tow.
Adrian will sit Nika down on like a nearby bench or step or something, just somewhere, inconspicuous and safe. But then he'll come up behind Sarah. Hey.
She like kind of blinks, like, kind of registers that there's someone there. You can tell that she's not like sobbing and like a mess, but there are tears. Like she has cried maybe a little bit, but not like red in the face or anything like that. But she's kind of lost in thought. She'll kind of turn her head a little bit towards you, but not really look at you.
Dr. Caron is calling it in. Is there anything else that we need to do before we go?
No, I don't think so.
You think you can take a look at the video footage? Kind of like you did last time? And Bear gives him a not too subtle wink.
Yeah. See if they have cameras. I'm sure they have cameras. You two should talk, probably. And he'll break away and head back inside and seek out the main security office.
You're able to find it's not quite a security office because they don't really have much in the way of security here, but it's kind of like an administration office. And there's a video bank where there is recorded footage of the various wings, the various hallways, some of the common areas.
Yeah, with my laptop in tow, I'm going to download as much as I can, and then anything that looks sus, I'm going to scrub.
Done. Yep, with your computer science and your SIGINT scores, that is as easy as it gets, and you're able to do that pretty quickly.
There is a moment, though, where he lingers on whichever camera was sort of pointed in the hall that he and Dr. Caron were in. And he doesn't, he lets it play, and he watches himself do what he did to Samuel. And then when it's done, when he sees that spasm of death, he'll rewind and scrub it.
Consider it done. Sarah, Bear, what do you all do on the outside?
Does Sarah look like she's going to say anything? Or?
You can tell she's thinking, and after a while, if it stays quiet and she recognizes that you're the only person out there, she'll just kind of very quietly say, I could have ended this 15 years ago and I didn't. And I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was being kind. And I don't think this was kindness. I mean, what the fuck? You're told to kill a bunch of kids who've just been through something horrific, and you say no because that's the right thing. You shouldn't do it. But now we're here, and they're dying, and they've still suffered all of these years.
Bear, quietly, so as to not be heard by Nika, but he says, she's still here. She's all right. That's why it's the right thing to do. You would have been just as wrong. Kill Nika. Right?
Is it a numbers game? Because she's what, 1?
I don't fucking know.
They were all right there. And I know how the system works, and I know what they encountered. Even the best fucking circumstances where they didn't have whatever the fuck that was. We know how the system works. I knew they weren't going to get the help they need, and I just brushed my hand, said, job done. On to the next one.
Can't beat yourself up about it. We're not the only ones who failed those kids.
We were the ones that knew what they went through, though.
At this moment, you become aware that Nika is standing not just behind you, not enough to overhear what you're saying. She seems polite and aware enough to not want to be even remotely perceived as trying to eavesdrop. But she's looking at you, her eyes red and swollen from all the crying she's done in a very short amount of time. And she asks you, you're going after the others, yes?
Sarah just kind of nods.
We have to after what they did.
You are going to stop this from happening again, yes?
That's the plan.
I believe I have more information that can help you.
Anything.
And that is where we will end tonight's session.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for listening to Delta Green, God's Teeth, part of the Black Project Gaming podcast. If you like what you heard, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or a comment on YouTube. Be sure to visit blackprojectgaming.com for previous and future Delta Green episodes. If you'd like updates on all future releases, please follow us on Blue Sky or Facebook. Until next time, I'm Vince, your host and handler, with Cami as FBI Special Agent Sarah Hart, Doug as Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent Gerrald Bear Swenson, Jack as Special Agent Adrian Selivanov with the FBI's Computer Analysis Response Team, and Sonia as Dr. Leah Caron with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Thank you again, and remember, we'll be seeing you.